It's not an easy load to carry. Suspended on long poles, with the weight distributed across the shoulders of Salvadorans, are pineapples, coconuts, bananas. It's part of a festival that brings together hundreds in the Central American nation of El Salvador. They bear the burden as a religious offering. It's a way of giving thanks for an abundant harvest and comes with a prayer for an even better one in the year to come. Almost 1,000 people in total take part. They carry 8 massive bundles like this, and there's a lot of planning that goes into making sure they're fed along the way. The fruit itself isn't for them. That's headed to a church. So others prepare beef, chicken, tamales, tortillas, and rice to ensure no one goes hungry. The men do get tired. A participant told the AFP news agency there are moments when they can't take the weight anymore and have to let go. But then they pick up the load again and keep moving. The festival began almost a century ago, and one man involved says the tradition will not be lost. With 3 shows, including this one left in our spring season, we're happy to have you watching The World from A to Z this Wednesday. I'm Carl Azus, broadcasting from our studios near Atlanta, Georgia, a state that may be affected by a plume of dust that's traveled across an ocean, dust from a desert thousands of miles away. What's blowing in the air toward the southern United States this week is not to be confused with the smoke from ongoing Canadian wildfires, which have swept south in recent days. A new natural phenomenon that could affect air quality originated in Africa's Sahara Desert, and it's been carried across the Atlantic, already having settled on parts of the Caribbean, including Cuba and Puerto Rico. Is this unusual? American weather officials say no. Storms in the Sahara that typically begin in June can stir up dust into the atmosphere. It enters what meteorologists call the Saharan air layer. And winds can carry these tiny particles of dust and sand thousands of miles, eventually depositing them in North America. This can lead to lower air quality and hazy skies, but also brilliant sunsets. A meteorologist who previously spoke about this to USA Today said it could also work against the development of tropical storms. They need moisture, and the dust takes that out of the atmosphere. Forecasters expected this would start to affect Florida as early as today. Several other states surrounding the Gulf are likely to see Sahara dust by the end of the week. Next subject today, a new warning concerning internet scams. Many of us had heard experts' advice not to click unknown links or enter info on suspicious sites. Some say freezing your credit's a good idea too, if you could do that. Now, though, advice about not talking to strangers.
If you're checking your email every day, chances are you'll see a subject line that might make you raise a brow. According to a CNET survey, 96% of U.S. adults receive at least one scam email, text, or phone call each week. 90% say they get scam emails on a weekly basis. CNET station Milden says the scam calls and texts are surging too.
My phone rings constantly, and that's at 83%, still very high, followed by text messages, of course, at 82%.
In 2024 alone, U.S. adults reported losing a collective whopping $470 million in those sneaky text scams, according to the Federal Trade Commission. Milden says fraudsters have gotten so good at crafting their messages and creating a sense of urgency that people need to stay vigilant, especially on phone calls.
If you don't know who that person is after you have said hello, don't say anything further, hang up. And the reason why I say that is so important is because artificial intelligence has evolved to where scammers are actually able to clone your voice and your responses to unfortunately use those for scams later.
Is it constitutional? The 19th Amendment, which Congress passed in 1919, took the least amount of time to ratify. True or false? This is false. The amendment that gave American women the right to vote was ratified in a little over a year, but the 26th Amendment was ratified in 100 days. On this date in world history. June 4th, 1876, a train called the Transcontinental Express, because it's fun to say it like that, pulled into San Francisco, California. It was a safer and probably more comfortable journey than the wagon train and stagecoach trips that preceded it, and the travel time from New York was considered blindingly fast, 3.5 days, the Transcontinental Railroad was rolling. On this date in 1919, the U.S. Congress passed the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, 41 years after it was introduced in Congress. It guaranteed American women the right to vote, and it was ratified by the states on August 18, 1920. And June 4th, 1989 saw violent assaults by the Chinese military on protesters in Beijing. For months before that, tens of thousands of college students and others had pushed for economic, political, and social changes in the communist country. The government called the protests counter-revolutionary, and though it was divided over the use of force, it ordered the military to clear protesters out of Tiananmen Square. That started June 3rd and continued through the 4th. China's government said 241 people, including some soldiers, were killed, and it's tried to keep references to the event quiet. Historians outside China say thousands died.
Word and out. Which of these American authors is credited with inventing the term brain rot? Henry David Thoreau, Edgar Allan Poe, Toni Morrison, Harper Lee. It was in his book Walden, which was published in 1854, that Henry David Thoreau coined the famous term.
And while any time could be a potential time for brain rot, there may be more opportunities for it over summer break when schedules shift and scholastics seem to subside. Oxford University Press made brain rot its word of the year in 2024.
The Oxford Dictionary defines brain rot as the supposed deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially viewed as the result of overconsumption of material, now particularly online content, considered to be trivial or unchallenging. So, according to this definition, brain rot is not a literal physical condition. Rather, it's a figurative symptom of consuming too much low-quality online content, especially on social media. Everything in moderation, as the saying goes, but watch too many of these and you might feel your brain turning to mush. And actually, there is evidence for that. Scientific studies have found that heavy internet usage is associated with reduced gray matter in the brain, particularly the part responsible for decision-making and problem-solving. While your brain isn't literally rotting, it could be literally shrinking. The first recorded use of brain rot dates back to 1854. That's when author Henry David Thoreau published his book Walden. The memoir tells of Thoreau's time living in solitude in a remote cabin in Massachusetts, and includes his musings on life and civilization. Thoreau writes,
"While England endeavors to cure the potato rot, will not any endeavor to cure the brain rot, which prevails so much more widely and fatally."
Turns out, concern about people rotting their brains has been around for quite some time, but it's taken on new meaning in the digital age. Between 2023 and 2024, the term brain rot increased in usage frequency by 230%.
Checking up now on who's watching today from the West Coast to the East Coast. We're recognizing the Indians of Marysville High School. Great to see Mr. Garcia's class in Marysville, California. Miss Sharp's class is next. From Duluth, Minnesota, the Hunters are watching at Denfeld High School. In Whitehall, Pennsylvania, we see Coach Piston's class at Whitehall Copley Middle School. It's the home of the Zephyrs. And from Kettle Run High School, hello to Mrs. Willoughby's class. The Cougars are on the prowl in Nokesville, Virginia. Another entry for our Animals in Places You Don't Expect series. This is a zebra. They're native to several African nations, but Ed here, yes, his name is Ed, he's been running wild in Tennessee after escaping from his new owners. Now he's an online celebrity with memes featuring him modeling jewelry, getting a haircut, covering up with a new hat. The Tennessee Department of Mental Health used a shot of Ed to remind people we all need a break sometimes. But maybe not necessarily to make a break. Mr. Ed, who doesn't talk, is still the talk of the town for horsing around. And Equus on the Loose, the main attraction that brought a lot of attention of all stripes many heard about for his decision to hoof it. Maybe his reasons for running were black and white, or maybe he's just gone crazy. This is the world from A to Z. I'm Carl Azus. We hope to see you for our last two shows of the season, tomorrow and Friday. You mean the world to me.